Hello?
Hey mom, remember when you would come home from work, lay in bed, and I would sit at the foot of the bed and we'd watch television together?
Yes.
I remember we watched so many shows. I think one of my favorites was like 90210 because you told me all about the original, which you used to watch, correct?
Yes.
And you were a big fan. And I think one of your favorite characters, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, was it Brenda?
Absolutely. Brenda was one of my favorites. Yes. I watched
And
her a
what did
lot.
you like about Brenda?
What I liked about Brenda was very kind and very genuine. The characters in 90210 were just so innocent, and that's what I really liked about them, their personalities. Um, it was just exciting to see them get along, to work out issues at such a young age. Mhm, mhm, mhm.
But the thing that's special to me about watching television with you was that we would learn something new from these characters and the lives that they lived on screen, which were inspired by actual people, writers in a room. That's it's something to it, and I think I like talking about it because it's an easy way to get people to be like, oh, well, I saw this on such and such, and this in my actual life reminds me of this, and they're like, oh yeah, now you kind of get, it's like a touchstone. I
Yeah.
wanted to have that conversation with you because I always wonder because like 90210 is a big one, but yeah, I remember Gossip Girl, The Vampire
Mhm.
Diaries,
Oh,
The
yeah.
Gang,
Oh, yeah.
all of them.
We did
Did you
watch
have
a
a
lot of those sitcoms. Yes.
Did you have a favorite?
Gossip Girl.
Okay, why? I wonder why because
Because
that's my favorite too.
Blair was somewhat of a villain, but she had a genuine side to her personality. And that's more realistic for me. Hmm.
I never really saw it that way, and you're right.
Hmm.
I think she often gets a bad rep from
Correct.
people, but she honestly just she felt a little betrayed by her friend
Correct. Correct. And rightfully so. Some of the things
because
that she did to her friend, she didn't have to do. Um, but that's how she coped with it. But in the end, it all turned out.
yeah, it's so funny watching that show like earlier this year and like rehashing it. I was like, I do not remember any of this, but also at the time that I watched it, I think I was probably like early teens,
Oh, okay.
and so I had a very
Yeah.
different perspective on it. Like,
Well, when you rewatch it, you always realize, wow, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. There's pieces that you don't remember that actually occurred, and then now, wow, that makes sense. Then, okay, that's why. Yeah. Hmm.
I like to think that as a teenager, I was very mature.
Hmm.
Um, but looking back, I probably would have been just as much of a hot mess as they were. You don't have to say anything. I
I'm
know.
not. I'm not. No, I will not comment on that. No comment.
Well, thank you, Bob. I appreciate it.
Anytime,
I love,
sweetheart.
love you.
Love you too. Have a good day. Bye bye.
You too. Bye. There's not a doubt in my mind that my mom will always keep things real with me. This is the Zesty Podcast. I'm your host, Malik Anderson, aka Taka. You know we love a good watch list, and this week we've got a television connoisseur on our hands. We're talking about some of the most exciting shows we've been watching in the last few months, and the ones that we're anticipating this fall. The one that everyone's buzzing about, like Bel Air, Gen V, Stranger Things, and how they stack up when it comes to storytelling, innovation, and vibe. So grab your snacks, get cozy, and let's dive into what's worth your screen time this season. We're joined by my friend and fraternity brother, Jacoby Hardy, who is known as a TV connoisseur on Twitter. That's right, Twitter. I'm never calling it X. You can find him at Soy Corriendo, where he shares his passion for television and film. And he probably watches more, scratch that. He definitely watches more TV than I do. So we kicked off our conversation talking about what is the first thing he notices when he's watching a new show.
Oh, the first thing I notice when I watch a new series, I think is, oh, that's hard. That's a very hard question, but I do have a kind of criteria that I use to evaluate the cast. Like, kind of like, what are they telling us within the first like 5 to 10 minutes? Because a lot of times with a new series, you don't know anything. You don't know who these people are, why they're doing what they're doing, where they're at. Maybe you watch a trailer, something like that, but you don't really know too much. So I think one thing I noticed like the first 5 to 10 minutes is how they introduce the story or how they introduce the characters or what this the show is going to be about. So I kind of noticed that within the first 5 to 10 minutes, how that comes about.
And how do you figure out what you're gonna watch? Because sometimes I think like I'll see things on Netflix or Hulu and I'll just kind of scroll around for about 5, 10 minutes and then I'll click on something and I maybe watch it for like five, but then I'm
Mhm.
just like, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Like how do you pick your shows?
It's interesting. Like I thought I'm a really good TV show selector. I just feel like I just know what to pick. Well, I'll start here. A lot of times I get my recommendations or at least know what's come through YouTube. So I'm subscribed to a number of like Netflix. They drop their trailers on YouTube, Hulu, all the streaming services. So I kind of look at the trailers and I kind of figure out like, who's in this show. So what really will get me first to the show if I see a familiar face. Even if I don't know their name, if they look familiar, I know, okay, I'm watching that show. So like there's a number of shows I'm like, oh, she was in that show, or I remember from that movie, or I'm watching that. Um, so I kind of get my recommendations from there. There's also a couple of Twitter accounts I follow, and one is called Blex Media, and they kind of highlight black people in TV shows and movies. So if I see something posted about that account, I know I need to watch that show or at least investigate a little bit further. But it's just a mixture of like watching trailers, looking at who's in the cast, and also like who I'm getting that recommendation or who's posting that material from social media.
And so, like, what are your like top streaming services? I would say because I float between like I mentioned earlier, like Hulu, Netflix. But lately, Tubi's been coming through. Honestly, I'm not gonna doubt Tubi. I've found a few good shows, originals on Tubi and Paramount.
Yeah, I'm starting to coming around Tubi too with some of the shows I'm watching. I feel like right now my top streaming services, it's like so interesting. There's an ebb and flow because somebody might be releasing like a number of shows at once, and then other ones are not really releasing as much. So right now, I would say Prime Video because they released so many shows this summer. Like they're releasing like back to back shows. And also, I've been like looking at some shows they released in the past because I didn't watch them. So I'll say Prime Video and Hulu. I think Hulu's underrated for their originals. Like they have a good a selection of original shows that people don't suspect. I guess most people default to Netflix, but Hulu, I will say, is number two for me right now too.
Are you like a cycler? I don't know what they call them, but like I do this as well. It's like where you cancel one subscription service and then you hop to the other, and then like when your show comes on another one, you go back.
No, I'm not, but I fully support it because it's too expensive to support every single streaming service. Like right now, Stars, they haven't released anything I really wanted to watch since like Power Ghost went off or Power Book 3 went off. So that's been like 4 or 5 months, right? So that's who wants to pay $10.99 for 5 months if you're not watching anything. So how I do is those I think I have almost every single streaming channel, and I do like account sharing. So so like certain people, my dad has Netflix. I buy Hulu. My uncle has HBO Max. I have Paramount Plus and Stars. So I kind of mix it. I have other people who give me their passwords, and that's how I do it. Um, so I don't have to cycle through, but I fully support cycling through because there's definitely some dead months, I would say, for streaming services.
So I want to get to some of the shows that you had on your list because some of them are great. And honestly, like if I didn't ask you about this list beforehand, um, we would have had a lot of the same shows.
Yeah.
Um, so the first one I wanted to talk about was Damascus because
Mm-hmm.
we were just talking about Tubi earlier. And
Mm-hmm.
Damascus is such a unique show. It's like
Mm-hmm.
surreal, philosophical, and funny
Mm-hmm.
all at once. I really wasn't expecting it from Tubi. And when I first started watching it, I wasn't sure what I was in store for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I wanted to ask you, like, how did you hear about Damascus and what made you gravitate towards it? What made you give it a chance?
Yeah. So I found about Damascus, I think because of Blex Media, they posted like I think months before it was even came to fruition. I think it was supposed to like it was canceled by AMC for a release and that was moving over to Tubi. And so what really got me into the show, of course, it was posted through the channel, so I knew okay, it's gonna be some black characters on the show. But I think I saw like Martin Lawrence is going to be in it. I think maybe Lynn Whitfield was mentioned. So like all the other main characters I didn't really know much about besides OG Aunt Viv, Martin Lawrence, and Lynn Whitfield. So I'm like, oh, this is cool, like new generation, previous generation, and they're coming together for this random show on AMC. So like I probably barely even read what the show was about. Maybe the description wasn't really didn't give away much, but I think the cast is what drew me in. And then I track my shows with an app, which I won't mention just because I'm not getting paid. But
Fair.
it came up. It's like, oh, it came out today. I'm like, oh, it came out today. Let me go watch it. So that's kind of how my journey to finding out about Damascus and actually following through and watching it on Tubi.
I think one of the things that I really like about it is like the futuristic aspect,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really not the future. It's
Mm-hmm.
present day, but it's
Yeah.
like kind of like Black Mirror-esque, if we're
Yes.
being honest.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of has that vibe of like, this is an actual reality that we could live in.
Yep.
Um, with like all the stars that you mentioned, these are like Black Hollywood royalty, if we're
Mm-hmm.
being honest. You're talking about OG Viv and like you have Martin Lawrence uh and Lynn Whitfield all together on this
Yeah.
cast, and you're like seeing them almost in a way or in roles that I don't I don't really think I've seen them quite in
Mm-hmm.
like in any other show or film that I've seen.
I think even like seeing I wonder what was said to OG Viv, Martin Lawrence and Linfield to get them to sign on to the six episode show on AMC. Like, what was said to them because like they've been in the game for a while, but I'm like you mentioned with Lynn Whitfield, like I feel like Martin Lawrence we haven't seen him in that kind of like uncle character. So that was really interesting to see him in that role. He really excelled. Like the first episode, he was like my MVP. He really not say I don't say he carried the first episode, but he was so funny and just like I love that first episode with Martin Lawrence was just hilarious.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, it's interesting because of like the story that of it being created is like you mentioned earlier, is it was AMC and then it made its way to Tubi.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and being Tubi being its like kind of platform of choice. Tubi is like an interesting one because it almost feels like the new, like the modern day UPN
Yeah, yeah.
almost. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
like where a lot of our classics are landing. Like
Yep.
a
Yeah.
lot of it is on Tubi. So I'm wondering if it's gonna be a home for like some of the new like shows that you want to see.
Yeah. I'm watching another show on Tubi. Remember Issa's brother in the Insecure, Amal?
Yes.
He has his own show on Tubi. I'm like have 3 episodes left, but like Tubi's a great platform. Like it's free, it's accessible. So I think I'm hoping to see like more people be able to get their shows out on there because I think we need more of that something a fresh take, new faces on streaming services.
Yeah. How do you think platforms like Tubi like help creators? I mean, television makers.
I think just it's like I think it was on like a lower bar of entry. Not saying like Tubi accepts just anything, but I do think like with Netflix and Hulu and all these other streaming services, there is a paywall that prevents you if you don't pay, you're not able to watch it. Versus Tubi, you can just download on your phone, tablet, or on your TV, and people are able to watch your material without that kind of friction point up there. So I think that's one thing that allows them. I think that's one barrier that they don't have with Tubi. So I think that's one of the most important for me. What about you?
I agree. You said that you hit the nail on the head with some of the things that I've said to friends of mine is like, it makes it more accessible. But you see a lot of independent creators work on Tubi.
Yep.
Um, a lot of honestly, a lot of people from Atlanta. Like
Yeah.
you'll go back and look, you're like, oh, this person lives in Atlanta. Like it
Right.
really is Black Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
And like Tubi, I hear pay a lot of people have shared their experiences on social media. Like Tubi paid me to
Oh.
have my work on
Mm-hmm.
their platform. And I think that's always a big plus. Plus, it's not another service that you got to pay for. You can watch what you can find, the classics.
Yep.
Um, you can find, I found movies that I haven't seen in years on
Mm-hmm.
Tubi. Like
Yep.
you'll find movies from like the 2000 like deep cuts that you were like,
Exactly.
oh wow, I forgot that this movie existed because it
Yeah.
isn't on any other streaming platform, but this made my childhood in the
Exactly.
2000s,
Yep.
which is really cool to me. And so I'm a big, I mean, you know, I can't give the program, I can't give Tubi too much applause. They ain't paying me, but like
Right.
it is like I
I
mean,
appreciate
I
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great platform.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorites so far, but also I'm not paying them, so it kind of evens out, you know?
Right. I like that. Yeah, and I think there's so much more for me to explore. I think I've seen like some. Uh, she's an actor on Power. Haley Kilgore. She's on 911 Nashville now, but she was in the movie on Tubi, and some people said it was really good. So it's on my watch list. So like I hope to see more of that. Just like people explore and be able to, lower bar entry to, try new things or be in the movie and getting out to the masses without
Yeah.
figure out theatrical releases or anything like that or like paywalls and things like that too. So yeah.
Yeah. It's also a great service for like shows like Damascus and other shows to land on.
Mhm.
Um, that's kind of like a safe bet, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
AMC's networks also has their own streaming service called
Mhm.
All Black.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of it.
I've heard of
Um,
it.
yeah, I watched a few shows on there. They had there was a show, there was The Wicked City, which is about these
Mhm.
black witches in Atlanta. I love me some fantasy, so I hopped on that, and
Mhm.
then there was another show about a witch named Domino Day that was
Mhm.
on that same service that I got a subscription to on Amazon Prime, and that's how I learned about it. But they
Yeah.
have this new show coming out that I'm interested in. It's called Grits, and it's spelled
Mhm.
out like Grits, Girls Raised in the South. And it's
Mhm.
about these like three friends who are kind of like coming up together and discovering themselves in Memphis. But the plot almost sounds a little bit similar to like a roll bounce,
Yeah.
it kind of
Yeah.
it kind of reminds me of roll bounce, ATL.
Yeah.
Um, they got this skating culture competition going on, so I'm kind of exhausted. I'm kind of like excited for it because I kind of want to see where it goes.
Yeah.
But that's going to be coming out like later this month.
I'm literally adding it to my watch list right now because I literally saw the trailer, but I forgot to add it. So I'm glad for a reminder. But I've never watched any show on all black, but I know I need to. And I heard of Wicked City. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it. So I think thanks to your recommendation, I'm going to be watching Grits as well because one thing I'm excited about is like kind of see black people in TV shows just existing and like I think a dimension of them skating, which is I think the most recent thing I can think about is Roll Bounce, but also the location of the I think is in Memphis. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, like something I'm talking about my friends, like most TV shows with black people in it is always like Atlanta, LA, New York, maybe Chicago, but I do like a change of scenery where it's in Memphis, so it can highlight what's special about Memphis and the culture there, you know?
You know what? You're absolutely right. I haven't heard a show in Memphis now that I think about it. I'm
Yeah,
hoping Glorilla makes an appearance.
exactly. That's what they need. Yeah, or maybe a season two premiere, a season two, if it's not already in there. So, but yeah,
Yeah, we need more shows from different cities.
yes,
Like, give me a show that's based in like I don't know, Alabama, like somewhere in
exactly.
Alabama. Give me a
Hmm.
show that's set in Mississippi. Well, we
Yeah,
got
yeah, P Valley.
we got P Valley, but there's not enough. There's not enough. There's
Exactly.
definitely there could be more. Well, I mean, your rest of your suggestions, they're set in LA or they're set in like California. So we're getting back to
Yeah.
that West Coast vibe. You pick Reasonable Doubt, which is another show that I've also been watching. I
Hmm.
think it was either because of you or
Hmm.
a lot of people have been suggesting the show,
Yeah.
and so I think I took a look at it like a few months ago. I was like, okay, let me watch season one. Um, and then I was hooked. Like
Yeah.
I think I binged the first season like within a day.
Hmm.
Um, what drew you to Reasonable Doubt?
I think with Drew Reasonable Doubt, I love, well, first of all, black characters involved. I know Kerry Washington's involved. So, like, already, I'm like, boom. I think I love a legal drama. One of my favorite shows of all time is How to Get Away with Murder. And I love Annalise Keating.
I
And I
love her
know
too.
Jackson doesn't like Annalise Keating, right, in terms of personality, but like, a black woman, a leading woman that's a black lady who is a lawyer and it's a crime drama, a legal drama. Like I was sold from there. So that's kind of how I got into it. And I was there from like the day of premiere, you know.
I think Jack Stewart is just like a completely different
Mm-hmm.
um character than both of
Exactly.
those.
Yep.
She feels almost, if I'm gonna say it, like those characters are larger than life,
Mm-hmm.
but Jax feels kind of like real to me in a
Yeah.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I was wondering about how you felt about how they portrayed her
Mm-hmm.
as sort of like this lawyer figure who is a black woman who lives in California, um, and is, I guess, representative of the culture.
Yeah. And one thing I will speak on that too is like, when if somebody were to say like, how would you compare Reasonable Doubt and How to Get Away with Murder? I would say no because I feel like they're both have black women who are complex characters who also attorneys, but I think that's what the similarities in. So I hope like people don't take it as I'm comparing the two, but like I agree with you, like totally different character. And I think for Jax, she I'm not I won't say she's like the girl next door because I feel like that term is kind of that saying is kind of like inherently like used for other people, but I feel like she is I don't know what to say. Like I think she's just feels like she's real. I think you already said that already, but I feel like we see her insecurities, her mess ups. Sometimes there's points in the show like she's corny, like the way she acts. Like she'll make a joke. She's like, "Oh, you get back to work," and it's like, "Oh, that was so corny," but like you are you're a real person. I think that's what
Uh,
makes her different from the other two. Annalise and Olivia. I feel like she is strong. She's powerful. She's sharp. She's very sharp. I think she's a little bit corny in how she talks with her husband or how she talks with her children. You're like, oh yeah, she's a mom. Oh yeah, she's I don't. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I think there's a couple moments in the show you're like, oh yeah, you're definitely an older millennial woman. I don't know. Does that make sense?
For sure, like for sure. I definitely get that, but her music choices, like
Yeah.
the soundtrack, like listen, I'm like, oh, she is such like a hip hop head, but in a hip hop head that like shows like her age, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is definitely like late Gen Xer, early millennial coded, like
Hmm.
where it's like, oh, this is what she's into.
Hmm.
And then also the like just like the joking at work where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, how can you tell someone's code switching? Like when they're like
Right.
the code switching elements, it's like she's still her. And you could tell when she wants to like, she wants to be like a homegirl Jax, or she wants to be like the
Yeah.
Jax that everyone like that don't get at work, and then she quickly
Mhm.
switches. It's like she's like, "Oh, I was just kidding. I'm like joking with you."
Right. Yes. Yeah. I think too, like the way she interacts with her friends, um I think that really shows her in a different light. I feel like, for example, like Annalise, she probably had like what, very few friends
And at
until
least I
like
had no friends.
right. It was
She had
all working,
associates.
all associates, people from either her law school or her career. But like, I think like Jax, we see her interact with Naima and Spencer, or like her character. Like I remember there was a scene this season, in season 3, which I won't spoil, but they're all her friends were all at the dinner table, and the two of them got up, and then her and her friend Sally, they were like talking, and then they started arguing with each other. And then when the two other friends came back, they're like, "Oh, we're doing good. We're doing you." They act like they were cool again. And I'm like, "Oh, they're definitely friends." And like, it's so real life. Like, it was like, "Oh, somebody in that writers' room knows how to incorporate these moments to the show." I think that's what helps her stand out and be different.
And they're so good at it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're really
Speaking
good.
of, I mean, lawyers. I mean, since we were just on the topic of lawyers, I wanted to talk about Bel Air. We got Uncle Phil,
Mhm.
um, we got Aunt Viv and Will and the crew, and I'm gonna miss them. This is the last season that's coming up.
Yeah.
They introduced me to Coco Jones, who I love.
Yes.
Um, I'm a, yeah, I did not follow Coco Jones that much before this series, and then once I started watching it, I was like, oh, she does music too. Her music is amazing.
You didn't watch
Um,
Let Shine on Disney Channel?
I did not. I think I fell
Oh.
off like before. I think I like
Mhm.
watched Jesse and a lot of the other
Mhm.
shows, but I did not. I slept on Let Shine, and I
You gotta
almost
watch it.
regret it.
You
Like
gotta watch it.
part of me wants to go back and rewatch like Let Shine, because like a lot of these new stars or like singers and stuff are from
Yeah.
like late Disney Channel era. But like back to Bel Air, I mean, this is the final season. It's
Yeah.
farewell. What are you expecting?
Oh, so this is my thing about final seasons, and they, I feel like a lot of shows they kind of end up dropping the ball. Like they don't know. Not say they, 'cause I'm not a writer, but like I feel like it's very hard to end the show the right way because you're gonna piss people off, right? But I think like I'm worried about the very last episode because, in my opinion, the series finale for a TV series it needs to be really good, really bad, rarely in between because you're trying to wrap up everybody's storyline in a meaningful way. So I'm hopeful for this last season. I saw a trailer on TikTok, but I think it was released too early. I think, but they didn't give away too much. But I'm pretty excited for the show, and there's a couple things why. I think one of the reasons why they get to end on their own terms. Like to my knowledge, I don't think they were canceled, which is good. Like they were able to give it another season to kind of wrap things up, and I like they get the choice to do that. And then also it's like seeing like how they differ from Fresh Prince. And so I'm excited to see how that goes. Only I am worried about again is like the journey for the show. I feel like season 1 was excellent. like
Amazing.
gold star, like that first episode and how it just like expanded on the theme song to an episode about how Will made it to Bel Air and then so on and so forth. And Marlon Wayans, who's an amazing actor. I think season two was like they're trying to communicate too many messages and like not good. Now season three picked back
There
up.
was a lot going on in season two.
Yeah, it was like the whole like teacher storyline, the strike, and I think talking about racism was like, is this what the show is supposed to be about? I feel like it was one of those like, okay, y'all, the network is saying or the service is saying we need to talk about these topics. Let's build around that. I feel it was like it strayed away, in my opinion. But season three was like, okay, we're back on it. And then now I hope season four just they wrap it up in a nice bow. So I'm like, I'm hopeful as well, I will say.
I'm always happy for like showrunners, for writers, and the team to end it on their terms.
Yes.
Um, like, a lot of shows get canceled and they don't really get the chance to close out the story properly or the way that they would have wanted to. Um, but I mean, overall, the show has had a good 3 seasons so far. So I'm
Mhm.
just hoping that they just close this with a neat little bow
Mhm.
and have it be sort of like a tribute to the original, but also celebrate its originality because they kind of created something new. I mean,
Yep.
if you watch this show,
Mhm.
it's almost like you are watching a different show
Yeah.
entirely.
Mhm.
Where it's like you see pieces of the original, but I
Mhm.
really like what they've done with
Yeah.
that material to make it new.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm glad to have watched it. I was a
Mhm.
little skeptical in the beginning. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. I'm
Yeah.
always skeptical with reboots and
Me
remakes, but
too.
this is, I mean, if there is a lesson that could be taken from this show, um, would be to make something your own. Like
Yeah.
completely just, you know, have fun with it. And I think everything down from the casting, the
Yeah.
storytelling, and the tone shift was
Mhm.
a good decision, in my opinion.
Yes. I think like this is probably one of the best reboots I've seen. I'm really glad that Will Smith is on board too. I think he's something like maybe executive producer or some. He's somewhere involved
Yeah.
in the background. I think that's probably why it's so good because they got
I
like some
think that
advice
mattered.
from. Yeah, it matters. I think too. Like, and listen, this a Buffy. Is that I don't think they're calling it a reboot, but like a continuation. But it's like a reboot S Buffy show. I'm like Sarah Michelle Gellar. She's like, we're only doing it if it comes out right and it pleases the fans. So I'm glad they have her got in that show. But like, I think Bella really has had a good run, and I think you don't have to watch Fresh Prince to enjoy the show, which I like. Like you can, it stands on its own 2 feet.
All summer, I've been watching like a lot of rich black people television shows. I mean, Bel Air is one of them.
Yeah,
Right now,
yeah.
I've been like watching like Beyond the Gates. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I've heard of it. I never watched it though. I know it's like our first was a
It's a
black
soap
people watch.
opera.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the first soap opera to have a majority black cast from a major network, and they rolled out the red carpet on this one.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you, is
Uh,
the drama is drama.
yeah,
There's a lot of drama. They pulled out all the plots,
yeah.
fake pregnancy, half sister, all this. There's a lot. There's a lot going on.
Love the storyline.
I keep tuning in for more. It comes out every day. I'm watching it on Paramount Plus. I'm making my Paramount Plus subscription worth it.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm having a fun time, like just like watching it and seeing the story develop. I've never really followed like I mean, I can't say I've followed like soap operas,
Mhm.
but this is the first one I think as an adult that I've like actually legitimately followed versus
Yeah.
like, just watching it in passing or watching it
Mhm.
with like a parent or grandparent or relative, when they have their stories. This is like my story. Like
Yes. Because like
so I've been watching.
And like I said, my mom used to watch like Guiding Light or As the World Turns, but I think it's really cool to kind of have like a majority black cast or all black cast for Beyond the Gates, and it comes out in our generation, and then you know, hope it has long legs and it goes on for years and years, and like soon we can talk about this is our soap opera, and we watch it from the very beginning, you know.
It's great to see, like, you know, even in the soap opera field, that there's still changes or like
Mm-hmm.
progress being made.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Um, because I don't think that our generation would keep up with soap operas if there wasn't like, you know, a black
Exactly.
cast or a character. I think it's drawn people who would have just like stopped watching soap operas or maybe grew up with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like it drew us right back in.
Yep, it did. It did, and I think too. Like, I always think about like, no matter what show a actor is on, like this is gonna be like their platform to build off of. Like, you know, after a while, maybe somebody, you know, gets taken out the show. They have that resume. Like, I can transition to another show or movies, things like that too. So I'm excited to see how like this builds actors' careers, especially maybe for people who are, you know, not as well known either. So I look at every opportunity is great for them too. So I need to get into Beyond the Games. I keep hearing about it on TikTok, but I need to watch it.
You definitely should. Definitely should. So I have one final question for you, but I wanted to ask as we wrap up, what is a show that makes you feel your zestiness? And I'll describe. You
Mm.
have the most commentary to add. You have an opinion on everything. You have to yell at the characters. You get really involved with the storylines.
Oh my gosh. I'm looking at my list right now. I have a list of shows. The one thing that I think that comes to mind as I scroll through, you know what? I'll have to say How to Get Away with Murder, because when I was in Tokyo, How to Get Away with Murder was on Netflix. And so I was like, we was like chilling before going out, and I was like playing How to Get Away with Murder, and I was like yelling at them, like what I was yelling, commentating, laughing. I was like, because I knew the show so well. So I like default to How to Get Away with Murder just because of the most recent experience.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate you. We've been talking TV with the television connoisseur, Jacoby Hardy. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I hope you get a little more life this week.
Thank you. I appreciate this talk, Malik. See you later.